this is just a really quick warning that this is a relatively long demonstration, so if you don't want to sit through the whole demonstration, you are welcome to just quickly scroll through and see the parts that you need to look at. Okay, enjoy. Hi Year 3 and Year 4. This is a handwriting demonstration, or a little handwriting tutorial, as we know that there have been a few students who have been a little bit concerned with how they are doing their cursive handwriting, as well as their the flicks that we have been practicing as well. So I thought I would jump on here and create a demonstration so that hopefully you have a little bit more guidance as to how you should be forming your letters and how your handwriting should look. Okay, so I am doing this demonstration on an iPad. It was just an easier way for me to show you how to form the letters. So you can see on my page here, I have in each section, there are 4 different lines. So there's a thick line up the top, a thick line down the bottom, or a bold line, I should say. And then there is also 2 faint blue lines in the middle. These lines serve a very important purpose. They actually show us where we should be forming our letters and where they should be starting and where they should be ending. And this page looks very similar to the one that we would use at school in our handwriting books. So I'm going to leave these letters up the top here, just so you can see, and you can maybe refer back to it in future handwriting lessons, just where the letters should be starting. So we've got the letter A, and this is known as a grass letter. So all the letters that are formed within these 2 middle lines, they are called grass letters. If they are taller letters, they are referred to as sky letters. And if they are lower letters, so they're letters that have a tail or they just finish a little bit lower, they are called our ground letters. Okay, so for this week, we are focusing on how to do cursive handwriting with joining other letters to the letter E through what is referred to as the neck join. And so I will be showing you how to do that. Now, I'm not going to go through every piece of writing, all the writing that is on the handwriting framework. I will just be showing you how to do the capital letters and then how to do the letter combinations that are joining with the letter E. Now, I am also going to be showing you how to do it in cursive handwriting as well as with the flicks. So let's get started. Okay, so when you do your long date, you need to ensure that your capital letter, and in this instance, it's going to be the letter T. The letter T, it starts at the top and goes down to this lighter blue line here. And then we finish it up the top. In the New South Wales cursive handwriting font, we do not use any flicks or joins on our capital letters. They are only on the lowercase letters. Now, if you watch, I'm going to do the U, the E, and the S comes around. And then we have the letter D up, around for the A. And then it has the Y has a tail, so it comes down to the bottom lines. So hopefully you can see there that my Y has gone down to the bottom bold line, my D has gone to the top of the bold line, and my T is also sitting on that top bold line. While the rest of my letters are all the same are at all the same height, which is within those 2 lighter blue lines. This is really important. It's very important that you make sure your letters, especially if they are grass letters, so they're the letters that fit within these 2 sections, that they have to be the same height. Sometimes what we see is we'll see people do a really good V, a lowercase v, then they'll do a big E, and then they might do a R, and then their Y is something like that. When you have a piece of writing where all your letters are a bit sporadic, and they're written a bit like that, it makes it really hard for us to decode your writing. And that's why it's just important that we practice our handwriting so that everyone can read the fantastic work that you are producing. Okay, let's move on. when we do our letters, when we do our numbers, once again, they start at the top of that bold line and they come down to the lighter blue line. They do not have any flicks in them, and they are not joined. So we don't join any numbers in our New South Wales cursive handwriting. All right, let's move on to August. Again, our capital letters start at the top and there is no join for those capital letters. You will also notice as you're watching this that my pen does not leave the page when I do cursive handwriting. The whole point of that is that so it's a fluid motion. Now I'm just going to fix up my letter A because my join in the middle part there should not overhang. Perfect. Okay, so we have Tuesday, the 10th of August. I'm just going to make these numbers a little bit more bold so they look neater. Now, when we are doing the number 1, we don't necessarily need to put the little head and tail on it like that. I know some people do, but when we are doing the New South Wales handwriting, we just go straight down from the top line. Now you might hear me constantly keep saying the New South Wales for handwriting, the New South Wales handwriting. The reason being is because each state in Australia has their own style of handwriting. Although it's very similar, they do have different styles. So what we do in New South Wales is not necessarily the same type of handwriting they do in Victoria. Okay, let's now move on to the letter combinations that we are focusing on this week. Now, the first letter combination that we are focusing on is the VE combination. So I'm going to do this in green just so you can see what it looks like. Now, the VE, they are both grass letters. So they are both going to be within these 2 lines and they're going to be the exact same height. Now, when I do my letter V, I bring it down from the top, I curve it up a little bit, I go to the top and then I bring it around to join to the E. Start from the top, come down, curve it a little bit up to the top and then bring it down to the E. So it's really important that our E is always, the neck of our E, which is what we are focusing on, is always starts in the middle part of the 2 lines. So if I do it again for you, start at the top, come down, up, down to the middle, and then wrap it around. Now, with our V, the bottom of it does not necessarily have to be super pointy. It is more ideally meant to be a slight curve, rather than a distinct point. Okay, so that's our VE. Now, if you are someone who does not feel confident doing your cursive handwriting, so like this where they are joined, then I'm going to show you how to do it using flicks. So again, we're starting in the middle. We come up and then we flick the V out. And then we are going to do our letter E. So we come down, curve it, flick it. Oh, I'm going to do my letter E again because it was hanging out. Now you might like to, after you have done your row of VE combinations, you might like to go through and put a little tick next to the one that you really like and an asterisk next to the one that you think you could do better next time. So if I'm looking at my cursive ones up the top, I think probably this one is quite good and I could probably do this one again a little bit better. If I'm looking at my flicks at the bottom, I think this one's quite good because they're both the same height. However, maybe this one needs a little bit of work because the E went a bit too high there. Okay, let's move on to the next combination, which is the WE combination. And I'm going to do that in orange just so you can see it a bit better. So very, very similar to the VE, but with the WE come down all the way up, curve it a little bit at the bottom, and then bring it back into the center for the E. So there, all the way up. It's very important that we go all the way up. Sometimes people only go halfway and it looks a bit like that, but that is not the correct New South Wales cursive handwriting font. Now remember, our W, just like our V, does not have to be super pointy at the end. It can have that curve. We bring it around. Okay, now if I show you how to do it with the flicks. Now, my page is kind of blocked out by my little writing thing here. So I'm going to do it so you can see it in here. So our flicks for the WE combination, it's very similar to the VE. So once again, we are going all the way up. And when we come to the end here, we are flicking it. So instead of joining it to the E, we're just flicking. All the way up, flick, and then our E. All the way up, flick, E. Flick, E. All right, so if I look at this now, in the top row here, the WE combination that I think is the best would probably be this one. And the one that I think needs a little bit more work is this one because my W doesn't touch the line there. Now in the bottom with my flicks, the WE combinations, I think this one is probably my best, whereas maybe this one needs a bit of work because it doesn't touch the line. All right, let's move on to the next combination. I am going to rub this off just so we can, just so I can show you the rest of them. And I've just taken a little screenshot to save it. Okay, let's rub this off. Now, I look forward to your feedback. I do know that these videos can go for a little bit of time, but in order for them to be explicit, I do need to, I suppose, tell you the ins and outs of how to do things. However, if you feel like you only need a quick demonstration or a video of me just doing the letters without talking, please let myself or your teachers know, and I can just make a video in the future that just has me just doing the letters without any talking. Okay, the next combination we are looking at is the OE combination. So with the cursive handwriting, we start in the middle of the line. We go anti-clockwise with our O, we bring it up, and then we bring it back into the center and loop the E over. Now, I could probably do my E a little bit better because my E should be starting about here. So we bring it around, loop it back into the center like that, all the way up to the top. Then we bring our pen back into the center, all the way up into the center. Now, you will see with the letter O and the E, they are not super close together, and that's perfect. We want to be able to see the two letters. So I am going to redo this one at the front just because it wasn't a very good demonstration. Okay, so there you can see where the O and the E are joined at the neck, and that is that section there. All right, the one that I think would probably be the best is this one, and the one that needs a little bit work is this guy here. Here, the E is not starting in the middle, and it's curved a bit wonky. Okay, let's do the OE combination in the flick handwriting. So again, we start at the top, anti-clockwise. My pen does not come off the page, and it flicks. anti-clockwise, flick, E. Anti-clockwise, flick, E. So when you are doing your cursive handwriting and your flicks, it should just be a super fluid motion. Okay, let's have a look. What one? Let's say this one's probably the better one. And the one that needs a little bit of work, maybe this one at the front. I think the tail's too long and there's too much of a gap between the letters. Okay, the next combination we are focusing on is the XE combination. And it, again, we start here. Now the XE combination is important because of the way where I start my X. So the X we need to do the right hand side line first, and then we do the left hand and join it up. Right hand side, left hand side, then join it up. The reason being, if I start on my left hand side and then I do my right hand side, there's nowhere for me to join my E, and that does not look like a letter X. So right hand side, left hand side, up and over. Really trying to make sure that your letters are all the same height and stay within those 2 blue lines. If you are working in an exercise book where you don't have these 4 different lines, can I suggest that you practice doing it? If it's a normal exercise book with the normal blue lines, just try doing these combinations within those 2 lines. I know your writing might be a bit big, but you will get the understanding of how important it is that the letters are the same height. Okay, so that is our XE with cursive. Let's do it with the flicks. Start at the right, left, little flick up, and then the E. Right, left, little flick, E. Now remember, when you are doing the flicks or your cursive handwriting, your pen does not come off the page. When you are doing your flicks, the only time your pen comes off the page is to do the next letter. When you're doing cursive handwriting, your pen doesn't come off the page until you are finished writing it. All right, let's have a quick look. Which one is the better one? I'm going to say this is quite good. This one needs a little bit of work. He's a bit high over here. Now with my flicks, let's say this is quite good. Oh, not a very good tick there, but perhaps this one here needs a little bit of work. It's a little bit too high off the line there. All right, we are almost finished with the demonstration. We have one more letter combination to look at, and that is the RE combination. So I am going to rub this off quickly so I can show you. Almost there. Okay, let's do our final one, and I'm going to do this in a different color. I will do it in green. Okay, this is the RE combination. Again, these are all grass letters, so they all start within these 2 lighter blue lines. Okay, so we are going to start our letter R at the top. We bring it down, up, around, and then across. So down, up, and around. Down, up. Now when we are doing this, we need to make sure that when we are dropping our R, our guide is that we only go to the middle of those 2 lines, because that's where our neck join for our letter E needs to occur. Now, once again, when we are doing the letter R, we need to make sure that we are going straight down and we are basically coming back up, and then as we get to the top, we are creating the arch part that happens here. Okay, let's do the flick now. Down, up, flick. Down, up, flick. Now the letter R is one of those letters that I think students tend to have to practice quite regularly. but that's okay. All right, let's look at which one we think is the best. I'm going to probably say this R formation is quite good. This one needs a little bit of work. The E didn't start in the middle and my R is a little bit too wide. All right, down here with our flicks, I'm going to say maybe the first one, although it's a little bit high there. And then this one probably needs a little bit of work. It's a little bit too, they're a bit too spread out. Okay, so that brings us to the end of our handwriting demonstration today. I hope this has provided you with a little bit more clarity. Remember, when you are doing your capital letters, no matter if you're doing flicks or cursive handwriting, they do not join. So our capital letters always just stay on their own. And if you are doing like the letter G or the letter Y, that we are making sure that the tail of those letters are touching the bottom line. And if we are doing a letter like the letter B, that it starts at the top of that dark blue line and then comes all the way around. Okay, please share any feedback that you have about this video or this little mini quick lesson with your teacher or myself. That way I can improve it for next week. Happy handwriting and happy learning Year 3 and Year 4. Bye.